These bridge pieces are all straight across. No guitar is going to end up like that for it to ever play in tune. Now we need to talk about intonating the guitar. So first off, harmonics a little bit. May know a little bit about these. You can divide a string in half by just touching at the halfway point, which would be above the 12th fret. And so you're dividing the string in half is what you're doing. It's at rest here, and there's this string, and then there's this string. You can divide it into any integer. You can go into thirds. Thirds would be above the 7th fret. I'm just touching the string and picking it, and I don't need to press it. You can divide it into quarters, which would be at the 5th fret, and then things start getting off the frets. But if I can divide it into thirds here at the 7th fret, then I must be able to divide it into thirds somewhere else. There it is. If I can divide it into quarters at the 5th fret, you have to be pretty accurate about where you touch it. But you can use this. This is useful. If I play the string open and it's in tune here, and I play the harmonic and it's in tune, then I check if I press this, look at that, it's sharp. The reason for that is because I'm stretching that C string is in tune. It's nice to have a little more accurate than a snark, but a snark will do. There's our pure tone. That's showing that a little flat, actually. So we get that to where that's right. And then we fret. Don't press too hard, because I can really stretch it by pressing too hard. What you would normally play. And it's sharp. So I'm going to pull this back. This is when I stretch this, it raises the pitch. I need a longer string. So I'm going to move this back. By pulling this thing back with this string in tension on it, it's going to be really hard to do, and you're quite likely to strip this thing out. So you really have to drop the tension on this thing so that you don't have something fighting against you. And give it a few turns. And I'm pulling this piece back towards the bridge a little bit. And now I have to bring it back up. So there it is. A lot of times strings will go sharp and then they'll come back to their natural pitch. Best not to pick too rough.
Okay.
Still a little sharp. You can see it by the...
Basically, you're going to want to tighten this until it becomes not sharp, but actually a little bit slightly flat. That way when you fret it, it becomes an E and not a sharp E. It's just an E. And like I said, when we're intonating, we are not pressing the fret, we are just putting our finger right above the fret. It's not in the space between the frets, it's directly above the fret. And all you're doing is you're cutting the string in half and using you're using a smaller measurement, and you're trying to match the top half with the bottom half of the guitar so that when you're fretting through it, you have exact fraction. Tighten this again, bringing this closer to the bridge. This is called the saddle. And as I turn it right, it's going to lengthen this string so that it's going to compensate for when I fret it and take a little bit off of it, so that hopefully when I fret it, it's slightly flat now because I have lengthened the string, so now when I fret it, hopefully it'll be a perfect E. So that is how you intonate your strings. Because as we press on the string, you are going to stretch it, and it's going to cause the string to go sharp a lot. And you'll notice that as we intonate the next strings, that it either needs to be pulled this way a little bit, or it needs to be pulled this way a lot of it. And you'll notice how after you're done intonating your guitar, you're going to have a nice little pattern that looks slightly like this, generally speaking. Once you get to the G string, you're going to have to pull back far again, like you did for the first one, and the next two are going to almost look like a stair-step ladder as you go up. It really depends on what kind of strings you're using.